Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whispers of the Unknown podcast. We are on episode 6 now, I believe, and I'm joined by Kylie Cook. Kylie, how you doing?
So good.
Good. So we're doing another guest read today, where Kylie's going to be reading us the unsolved murder story from what book, Kylie?
Unsolved Murders, True Crime Cases Uncovered by Amber Hunt and Emily G. Thompson.
And just a reminder to all the fans out there, Emily G. Thompson has a podcast called
Morbidology.
So go give that a listen. All right, so what murder are we doing today?
We've got the Oakland County child murders that took place between 1976 and 1977.
All right, so do you know anything? Have you heard anything about these or no?
Nope, I just picked this one right out of the book because I thought it sounded interesting.
Okay. All right, well, let's get right into it then.
Let's dive right in. The case of the so-called Oakland County child killer, named after the Michigan county in which 4 terrifying kidnappings and murders occurred, panicked parents throughout the Midwest. The details are baffling. The 2 male victims bore signs of sexual assault, but the 2 females did not. 3 were suffocated or strangled, while 1 died of a shotgun blast to the head. All appeared to have been bathed at some point and were discovered neatly dressed. Very interesting.
So they were found, I guess it'll probably tell us in a second, what kind of clothes they were wearing. Neatly dressed.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's find out.
All right.
12-year-old Mark Stebbins and his older brother Mike regularly hung out together at an American Legion Hall at 9 Mile and Woodward, about a mile from their home in Ferndale, Michigan. The Veterans Organization was a safe place for the boys to spend time, and on a snowy Sunday in February 1976, they walked to the hall to play pool. After a while, Mark, described as a good student who liked to spend time alone, said he wanted to walk home to watch television. It was a path he had taken countless times before, both with his brother and by himself. But on this day, Mark did not arrive home, and his mother, Ruth, called police in a panic. While Mark Stebbins' disappearance worried those who knew him, it was not the type of case that would normally receive widespread media attention. That changed 4 days later when, on February 19th, an office worker in the nearby town of Southfield spotted his body abandoned in a parking lot. Oh. That's not good. Mark had rope burns on his wrist, but he was not bound, and it appeared that he had been strangled or suffocated at least a day earlier. Ferndale Police Chief Donald Geary told reporters the boy's body likely had been kept in the trunk of a car before being ditched in the parking lot. I was going to say, I was like, that's a drop spot. Definitely did not occur there. Not only had he been scrubbed clean, but his fingernails had been scraped by his killer. Oh, so this dude...
Have been scraped, you said?
Like, his fingernails were cleaned. So...
This guy might be like a crazy OCD guy or something.
Or he's just really covering his tracks.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I mean, if you got a victim putting up a fight, you're going to get DNA under your fingernails. You don't want that, so you're going to try and scrub them clean.
I guess that's not what I was saying. I was thinking
He's like, I got to have everything clean.
Kind of like
no dirt under the nails.
In Split, when he's like, you got a crumb on your shirt.
You got a crumb on your shirt. Take it off.
Just take it off.
Just take it off. What does Hedwig say?
What?
What is his word that he says all the time?
Etc.
Etc.
You guys are being mean, etc.
Okay, carrying on. As the police investigated and Mark's family mourned, months passed by and the tragic case slipped quietly from the headlines. That's surprising. I feel like child deaths are usually ones that gain a lot of media attention.
Yeah, definitely.
That's too bad. On December 26th, 1976, a motorist found the body of 12-year-old Jill Robinson in Troy, Michigan. She had left her Royal Oak home 4 days earlier after an argument with her mother over what to have for dinner. Oh. I would feel terrible if I was the mom and it was like we were arguing over dinner and then my child was just dead. I would feel so terrible about myself.
Yeah, I guess.
Not that that's her fault, but...
I mean, an argument over dinner shouldn't lead to running away, though.
I agree. Did you ever run away as a kid?
I don't want chicken for dinner. Just
okay,
away.
Then you don't eat. Go to your room. Did you ever try and run away as a kid?
Absolutely not.
Oh. Not even
No, I'd get whooped.
Oh.
Whooping.
Yeah, I guess I forgot.
But Dad's also a police officer.
I was going to say, I forgot who your dad was. I ran away one time, but I quite literally just went to my backyard and hid under the trampoline.
So dramatic.
I am. I am. I am. I was quite the dramatic kid.
You just wanted mom to come out and look for you.
I
Just
wanted
to feel loved.
Yeah, kinda. She did not though. She didn't come looking for me. I got cold and I got hungry and I wanted to go back.
She probably saw you from the window. Was like,
What the heck is she doing?
Idiot.
I used to write my mom like hate mail, but I would never like give it to her. So I would like go,
Crumple it up and throw it on the top of the trash.
I would like strategically place it on in the trash so she'd like see some of my words or something like that. Be like, I hate my mom. I was so dramatic.
And she's still nice to you.
And she's still nice to me. Most
You're
of the time. No, Brenda's great. We love her. Okay, moving on. On the surface, it was tough to discern if Jill's death was related to Mark's. The little girl had died in a completely different manner, a shotgun blast to the head, rather than asphyxiation. It is possible that Jill was killed with a shotgun when strangulation failed. That would stink. A shotgun. Ugh. But a few striking similarities led police to believe that there must be a connection. Like Mark, Jill was described as a loner, and it appeared she had been kidnapped and held for days before being killed. As with Mark, she had been fed and given water to drink while held captive. Her body, like Mark's, was dumped on a day it had snowed, helping to obscure much-needed evidence. Yeah, this dude, or dudette, is taking precautions. This is albeit smart killer. The killer's pace quickened. The next victim disappeared just a week later, on January 2nd, 1977. If I was alive, I would have been 1 day old. New Year's baby. Woo woo. After leaving a party shop just 4 blocks from her house in nearby Berkeley, Michigan, 10-year-old, this is just a baby, 10-year-old Kristen Mihalik had bought a magazine and was walking along a busy thoroughfare in I've never seen that word before. Thoroughfare in broad daylight when she vanished. Because Jill's body had been found so recently, Christine's disappearance was treated with far more urgency. Police helicopters swept the area and officers canvassed the neighborhood looking for witnesses and clues, but found nothing. A week after Christine vanished, police assumed the worst. These fears were realized when snow fell on January 22nd, 1977, 19 days after Christine's disappearance. Mail carrier Jerry Wozni, discovered Christine's body in a ditch along a dead-end road in Franklin, Michigan, another Oakland County town. I saw a hand. It scared the hell out of me, Wozni told reporters. He said it appeared that snow had been tossed on top of the body to make her difficult to spot. The headlines the next day read, "Slayings Terrorize County." The Detroit News offered a reward of $10,000 to catch the killer. Less than 2 months later, that terror reached the King family on March 16, 1977. 11-year-old Tim asked his sister Kathy for 30 cents so he could buy candy from a drugstore 3 blocks from home. Oh, he just wanted to go get some candy. He left his house in Birmingham, Michigan about 8:15 p.m. and skateboarded to the Hunter Maple Pharmacy. The shop assistant, Amy Walters, saw him leave with his candy about 8:30 p.m. through a rear door that led to a darkened parking lot. Tim, whom his parents had repeatedly warned not to talk to strangers, never returned home. A blue AMC Gremlin was seen parked in the lot where he was last seen. In 2013, parts of a similar car were found buried in a field in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Excuse you, sir.
Sorry.
Tim King's body was found a week later. Like the other victims, he had been kept alive much of the time he had been missing. Officials believe that he was suffocated within 6 hours of being found. While Tim was missing, his mother had written a letter to the Detroit News, pleading for him to come home for some Kentucky Fried Chicken, his favorite meal.
I haven't had KFC in a long time.
I know.
If I was a kid, I'd be pretty excited.
Yeah. I'd fight off my kidnappers by myself just to have some KFC.
Absolutely.
The crisp. What's your favorite thing from KFC?
I just like the buckets.
Yeah.
And their mac and cheese, dude.
I'm not a big mac and cheese person, but I like their... You know this.
I did not know that.
Oh.
Anyway,
But...
hurts my feelings a little bit.
Oh. I feel like the skin on the chicken just comes off so nicely. And then it's just nice and crispy. And then the mashed potatoes and gravy. They also have really good biscuits. Oh, and their coleslaw.
Oh, yeah.
KFC's just good.
Too bad it's like $50 to eat there now.
Yeah. In this economy?
In this economy.
No.
Thanks, Obama.
Obama. Where was I? An autopsy of the body revealed the food that he had eaten just before. Oh! No way! An autopsy of the body revealed the food that he had eaten just before he was killed. Guess what it is?
KFC.
Fried chicken.
No way.
Yeah, that's nuts. So his kidnappers are like kind of nice, but like really not.
I don't know.
I mean, how often do kidnappers like listen to the news and are like, "Oh, he likes KFC. Let me get him some chicken," and then kill him?
The fact that they kidnapped a child, though, it just shows that they're not that nice.
Well, obviously they're not that nice.
And then
but at
and then
least
kill the kid afterwards.
at least you got to enjoy his favorite meal. I mean, you gotta
Yeah, I guess.
You
It's like
gotta-
a last meal type of thing.
you gotta look at the silver linings here.
Is he really that bad? I mean, he bought the kid KFC.
No, it was just fried chicken. It didn't say KFC. He probably made it from scratch. He was like, I'm gonna make this kid some chicken because I enjoy him so much.
Well, it could have been KFC. It's just, you can't diagnose where the chicken came from. It's just chicken. So.
Yes, you can. You know KFC chicken when you taste KFC chicken.
And an autopsy, they're like, yeah,
that's
definitely
KFC.
KFC.
This is definitely the Colonel's work.
His finger looking good.
Okay, moving on. Tim's body was found in a ditch along a well-traveled dirt road in Livonia, Michigan, with his skateboard placed next to it. Like all the other victims, his body had been carefully cleaned aside from some samples of white dog hair. The location marked a change in pattern, as Livonia fell in Wayne County rather than neighboring Oakland. Police and sheriff's deputies from both jurisdictions were therefore dedicated to the case. I feel like this is going to go downhill. I feel like when you've got two police forces working together, it's
Especially back in the day.
yeah, people are reluctant to share information, and it just doesn't go well because they always want the credit for the case rather than the other guys instead of working together because, kids are missing.
Well, it's not the kids that matter. It's the medal you get when you find the...
I suppose. Maybe they get a pay raise. You never know. They get their picture taken and put it in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
That's some important stuff there.
I would withhold information of a kidnapping if I could get for a small pay raise.
Okay, well...
Just kidding, guys. Or am I?
Anyway, enough witnesses finally came forward for the police to create a sketch of a suspect. The face that emerged belonged to a white man with dark hair, a prominent nose, and thick lips. Bushy mutton chop whiskers ran down his cheeks. An accompanying psychological profile told the community that they were looking for someone between 20 and 35 years old who was well educated and worked in a white-collar job with enough flexibility to give him the freedom to carry out his crimes. How cool is criminal profiling?
Pretty cool.
That is so neat that people can...
If I had half a brain, I'd probably try to go do that, but
Alas.
Yeah.
You only have a quarter. Oh, poor guy. We believe that he appears sane 99% of the time, said Birmingham Police Chief Jerry Tobin, who suggested that the killer might be seeing a psychiatrist. Tobin urged anyone in the medical or legal profession to come forward with any information. The police also began to suspect that the killer was being protected by someone close to him, a relative or a friend. Birmingham Police Chief Jerry Tobin commented, "No individual could have kept 4 children for varying lengths of time without someone knowing." I don't know. Not necessarily. I mean, if you live by yourself and you're kind of a loner,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah, that's kind of a hot take.
Yeah. Stupid, right? Come on, Jerry Tobin. Anyway, it was probably because of that suspicion that family members of the victims were stonewalled by investigators. This was very frustrating to Tim's parents, who had been especially cooperative in humoring investigators' hunches early on. Detectives had believed that whoever was holding Tim hostage would react badly to his parents' emotional pleas, so the couple had agreed to conceal their grief and keep their tone positive during news conferences. Ooh, I don't even know if I could do that. If my child was missing, I don't think I could keep a positive attitude for appearances.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
The Kings felt that they had received little cooperation from the authorities in return. A special task force assigned to the case was disbanded in December 1978 and subsequently sued the county prosecutor's office, hoping to force it to release more evidence from the case. In 2012, the office did release 6,000 pages of case documents. However, the Kings request that officials be forced to release more evidence was denied by the Michigan Supreme Court in 2017. Why? This was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2017 at this point. Why?
That's
I feel like if
difference, yeah.
they're probably not any closer to cracking the case. However many years later, you know?
Yeah.
Over the years, police have received over 18,000 clues and leads from the public. I don't think that really necessarily means anything. I think the public also wants their 2 seconds of fame.
Yeah, definitely.
2 other abductions have been linked to the Oakland child killer case. Cynthia Cadu? I don't know.
It's okay.
Thanks. 16, who was battered to death. Oh my gosh. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
And
not as neat as the other guy.
Yeah, definitely not. And Jane Allen, 14, killed by carbon monoxide poisoning. In 2012, an unidentified investigator known as Bob claimed that there were between 11 and 16 victims and that the killings were connected to satanic rituals. These claims were dismissed owing to lack of evidence. Yeah, I feel like everyone tries to connect everything to satanic rituals. I think people are just bad.
The West Memphis 3, remember
that?
Oh
boy, don't even remind me.
Yeah. Great documentary, though.
I'm surprised that this isn't that isn't in here.
Actually, yeah.
Well, I mean, they
technically
they convicted.
Pleaded guilty just to get out of it, though.
Yeah.
You know, the Alfred plea.
If you don't know anything about the West Memphis 3, I suggest you watch the documentary Paradise Lost on HBO Max, because
crazy story.
It is absolutely crazy.
Lots of characters in there, too.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Like his stepfather. I forgot whose stepfather it was.
Stepfather
of one of the guys that was murdered.
Yeah.
One of the kids that was murdered.
The Bayer guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Yeah, he's a little nuts. Where was I? Little official information was meant that... Ooh, let me do that again. Little official information has meant that rumors have abounded over the identity of the Oakland County child killer. Few names were publicly tied to the case. Among the first was David Norberg, an auto worker who drove a car that looked similar to one described near Tim's abduction site. Norberg had been suspected of killing 2 girls in the late 1970s, though he was not convicted. After he died in a car crash in 1981, his wife found a small silver cross inscribed with the name Christine. She remembered the girl who had been the Oakland County child killer's 3rd victim and showed the cross to Christine's aunt, who said that it was identical to one Christine had worn at the Romeo Peach Festival shortly before her death.
Huh.
Oof. That's compelling.
Well, it's him then.
Facts.
It has to be. I mean, who else could it be?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Police exhumed Norberg's body in 1999 to see if his DNA matched evidence from the case, but the results did not tie him to the murders. Some investigators say that there was no way that Norberg, a heavy drinker, would have been able to lure stranger danger-conscious children into his car, and he has largely been dismissed as a suspect. A convicted pedophile named Christopher Bush was on the short list for the King family and Erica McAvoy, Christine's half-sister. The son of a wealthy auto executive, Bush lived in the area at the time. He was questioned soon after Tim's death, and he admitted to the investigators that he was a pedophile. Boo. Pedophilia. Gross. He also drove a car that looked similar to one spotted at one of the abductions. Investigators wanted to keep him in jail, but L. Brooks Patterson, who headed the prosecutor's office during the killings, released him as part of a plea deal. In November 1978, just a few months later, Bush died by suicide in his home. So he's definitely guilty. Definitely guilty. You don't just kill yourself. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. A drawing of a screaming boy that resembled Mark Stebbins was reportedly found pinned to the wall. Oh, yeah, he's guilty.
Yeah.
He's guilty. Another suspect was James Gunnels, a 51-year-old man connected to Christine's murder through DNA evidence.
Oh, wow.
So much for the dude being 20 to 35. But DNA evidence is pretty
So
solid.
how has no one been convicted for this?
I have no idea.
If they have DNA evidence, they have.
Yeah. In 2012, investigators revealed that a strand of hair found on Christine was a mitochondrial match for Gunnels, meaning that it could have come from him or someone on his mother's side of the family. Gunnels was no more than 16 when the crimes were committed. Okay. I don't think a 16-year-old would do that. You live at home. You're not going to be able to hold a kid hostage for days at a time.
Unless he has like a Jeff Dahmer situation where his mom just left him.
Yeah.
How old was Jeff Dahmer when he started butchering people? He was like in his teens.
He was
late teens?
He, I think, was graduated high school.
It's probably like 18.
Yeah. I think he graduated by the time he killed his first victim. Where was I? Gunnels, who was no more than 16 when the crimes were committed, and he had been raped by Bush.
Oh.
Whoa. In 2012, Gunnels met with the King family and insisted he knew nothing of the crimes. In 2012, another tenuous DNA test produced a suspect named Arch Sloan, who was serving a life sentence for the rape of a 10-year-old boy. Oh my gosh, there are so many sickos in this story. What in the world?
Yeah. I feel like in all of these stories there's been a lot of pedophiles and rapey kind of people.
A hair found in the 1966 Pontiac Bonneville matched hair found at both Mark and Tim's crime scenes. Although the hair was not Sloane's, investigators believed it belonged to an acquaintance of his. DNA tests in 2013 also quashed allegations that notorious serial killer John Wayne Gacy was the murderer. He's in Illinois. How?
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically where in Illinois, but
it was like Illinois and Iowa. I don't remember what. Well, he came from Chicago, right?
I don't remember. He might have.
Pretty sure.
Bad. So many pedophiles. While the King and Mihalik, I can't speak, families zeroed in on Bush as a suspect, Mark Stebbins' family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in 2007 against Theodore Lamborghini, a man who, like Sloan, was in prison for life on assault convictions. David A. Binkley, a lawyer representing the Stebbins family, said that his clients did not think Lamborghini acted alone and hoped the suit would help to uncover more information. He pointed to Lamborghini's refusal to take a polygraph test despite being offered a massively reduced prison sentence if he answered questions about the Oakland County child killings. Wouldn't you deny being the Oakland County child killer, Binkley said. Despite the family's suspicions, the suit was dismissed in 2008. But the presiding judge left room for it to be refiled if more evidence should come to light. Tim's father, Barry King, had replayed time and again how he had talked to his son after the community learned about Christine's death. All my kids remembered me telling Tim, if anyone tries to pick you up, drop everything and run and scream, he said. Part of the tragedy to me is once Tim got into the car, he knew what would happen. That's the worst part of it all. In 2013, the King family produced a documentary titled Decades of Deceit, detailing what they perceived as the bungled investigation into their son's murder. As long as the mystery of the Oakland County child killer remains unsolved, the Kings and the other victims' families will remain haunted by the events of over 40 years ago, still searching for answers that always seemed just out of reach.
Huh.
And that's the end of that story.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely crazy that there were so many victims and there were so many suspects, but they couldn't conclusively prove anything.
I'm kind of interested in the fact that there was so many people that had like actual physical DNA
evidence
ties.
Yeah. And that I don't know. I think it was probably botched.
The one guy literally had a cross that had Christine's name on it and was identical to the one that she wore.
Yeah.
And it had her name on it. And, yeah, that's crazy. Also, I looked up where John Wayne Gacy murdered people. It was in Iowa and Chicago.
Okay.
In Des Moines and Chicago.
I've been to Des Moines.
He killed 33 young boys.
Mm-hmm.
Sexually assaulted all of them.
Yep, and then buried them all in his house.
It's crazy.
Not good. Bad guy.
All right, do you have any other comments on this story? I thought this one was interesting for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't ever heard of this one before.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. I don't know. It's so sad. It's so tragic that so many children were taken from this world and that there's nothing to prove for it.
It is, yeah. It's also sad how many pedophiles are involved with these types
Yeah,
of
and how they're just out and about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, they have to be, like, on the sex offender list or, like, registered
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. But, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're a convicted pedophile, you should never walk the streets ever again.
I'm with
Ever.
you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awful.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for listening to the 6th and final episode of Whispers of the Unknown. Maybe we'll keep making these after the semester ends, but yeah, that's a wrap for now. Thanks for listening.